Okay, so when we talk about stress, again, there's a physical dimension. There's something called stress hormone, cortisol. And again, we can measure it. We don't even need blood. We just need some saliva, spit into a tube. Then we can see your cortisol level. So your cortisol is not stable. Your cortisol, like when, our ancestors, when they're chased by tiger, you need a lot of cortisol to run away, right? So when you have stress, successful people, you need to meet deadline, manage people, you need cortisol, right, to give you that push. But the problem is, if you're running, chasing tiger or running away from tiger all day, day after day, then you get burnout. Cortisol is produced by a gland in your body called the adrenal gland. And if it just keep on producing, it's going to be flat out. This is what we call adrenal exhaustion or burnout. So we can actually measure it, right? So what was the question again?
The body,
how does the body?
Any like symptoms? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you'll be having a lot of adrenal, a lot of energy initially, but then you will get fatigued and you have no more energy. We do see that burnout. A lot of corporate people that used to be very successful, and then they can't even want to go to meeting to meet anyone. But the boss, or sometimes they are themselves the boss, value them so much, right, that they send to us to try to rehabilitate them, even though they haven't been working for months, right? So that is what happened. Adrenal fatigue. So there's a physical aspect to that, but of course there's a cure. Once you measure it. So we have a test. We will measure 6 tubes of saliva in the morning, half an hour after you wake up, and then half an hour again after you wake up, and midday, tea time around 4, and before sleep. So that's a curve. Your cortisol should go up, right, and then slowly up, and then go down towards the evening. Because guess what? And this is very important to sleep. Cortisol inhibits your sleep hormone, melatonin. If your cortisol remains high, which is why before sleep you should not be doing work. You should not be, running away from tigers. Otherwise, it will block all your sleep hormone, your melatonin. You should, read a nice book, watch Netflix, and then your melatonin can work. So we plot that. And if it is too low, you can actually boost it up with very natural substance. You don't need medicine. I mean, you can do things like ginseng, ashwagandha, herbs that will push up your cortisol level, right? And if it is too high, you can bring it down with some supplement like phosphatidylserine. Don't worry about that. You can come and see us at our booth. We'll give you more information.
Running, I see that you agree with what doctor is saying. Yes, for sleep, your cortisol level must come down to be able to produce melatonin. So I do agree because that's why this question. Yeah. So I take on this. I think for myself, if I were to tell you that I have 30 over years of insomnia, yeah. When I was many years back. Yeah. I had insomnia for 20 over years. I couldn't sleep. So Zenek was my friend.
That I believe is fine. As long as you're watching with glasses that block the blue light and the green light from your screen.
Yeah.
All right. So I have another pair of glasses,
right,
which will totally block all the or the lights from your computer screen or TV screen. That is fine.
That's fine.
It will turn into your nightmare, and then you continue to sleep.
One episode after another.
So in other words, mindless entertaining program is fine, not work, because it's like playing for us, watching films and TV programs. So that is good. Yeah, but I agree, not in the bedroom, because you want bedroom to be associated with not work. Yeah, with with sleep or sex, love making.
Okay. So they're all in the living room. I just moved. Okay. How many of you have TVs in your bedroom? The one up there. Come see me at my booth.
It's so convenient, right? To
Yeah.
have TV.
Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong to have TV in the bedroom? Why?
It's a conditioning. Because when you go into the bedroom, you sleep. You
It's
don't
boring.
worry anything else.
That's boring. When you lie down there, you're such a relaxed state, you know.
Get a nice lazy man chair in the living room.
Cannot argue now with all this expert. Why is it wrong to have a TV in a bedroom?
It's the same thing, conditioning. So whenever you actually condition your bedroom as entertainment
Yes.
or work,
Yes. Even I will have my breakfast, lunch, dinner with the TV on in bed. Wow, this is luxury.
so for insomnia.
No,
No, it's
no,
not bad.
because I don't have a husband. So why is it bad? So conditioning, yeah. Why is it bad? Why is it bad?
Okay, for cases that actually do not have insomnia, I think it's fine. Yeah, you can still do that, but in the long run, it will impact. Because you are subconsciously conditioning, right, your brain to connect the bedroom with entertainment, with food, and not recovery is important.
Wow, get that? Get that? Agree, doctor? So why is it bad to have a TV in the bedroom?
Well, maybe it's not totally bad, right? Because like my pad, I use it for work, I use it for entertainment, so I feel my brain is clever enough to distinguish when it's working, when it's not. But in general, I definitely, well, I don't even watch the TV during the time. Watch it on my pad, which I will not bring it much in the bedroom. Okay, I don't know whether you know that our ancestors were bacteria. We all evolved from bacteria, right? Once upon a time, millions of years ago. So these bacteria are still in us in the form of mitochondria, right? So mitochondria gives you energy that generates something called ATP, right? So according to Christopher Palmer in the book Brain Energy, who's a psychiatrist, when your mitochondria energy gets depleted, right? So we have a saliva test that look at the 4 engine of your mitochondria, what we call complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, and complex 4. All right. So each of these complex need to work at 100%. It's like your car has 4 engines. So if one is suboptimal, it will affect the other parts. So if you don't have enough sleep, it will affect the other parts, and then all your mitochondria will not be good. So there's something called lifestyle medicine. So for lifestyle, sleep is part of that. You also need to have exercise. So which is why in the book we have set up a clinic called Sensory Wellness. For those people who don't have time to exercise or want to supplement the exercise, we have a machine. You can just put your feet in it for 10 minutes, then you have all the exercise signals in your body. But of course, I love playing tennis, but it's always raining. So when it rains, then I use the bicep machine, which they are welcome to use in our center. We offer about that. So mitochondria is the underlying cause of everything, right? So this is also known as functional medicine. Everything has a function. Why does your daughter have bulimia? It's because of some function, some communication problem with the father or something, right? So we need to look at the underlying causes of disease, underlying cause of insomnia. So mitochondria is the underlying cause. So when that gets fixed, right? But it is holistic and bilateral. So if your mitochondria is not good, you're not able to sleep well. If you're not able to sleep well, then you will affect your mitochondria, affect your
that's a very good thing out with RENEW. So R stands for reset. So when you are always in high alert, right, you need something to actually help you reset your nervous system so that you can go back to your parasympathetic. What does that mean is that your recovery mode, you are able to relax. Then E is everyone has their own energy flow, okay, of EBB and flow. So when we push too much, right, let's say I already getting tired, but you tell yourself, hey, I cannot, the next meeting is very important, I keep pushing and pushing. Once in a while, like Dr. Chan said, it's okay. But if you do it every day, that's not okay. Because then your body cannot really tell, are we going to rest right now or are we still pushing it? It's like running on a treadmill. Then N is new behavior, where you recondition your brain to your bedroom with sleep and only intimacy. Okay? And then E is environment. So some environment you also need it to actually help you. Maybe day, lighting, no jump lights, okay? White noise, things like that would help. And then W, you want to be from rest into your daily routine. So it's not just, night and sleep. What about just taking breaks every 1.5 to 2 hours according to your own natural flows? Because your body actually knows when to stop if you let it. So that's my favorite.
Okay, that's pretty good. Lisa, your turn. Let you speak about your Pradalai, Reconnect, Silva. Yeah. How's all this thing related?
It's all in the mind. You see this connect minds, everything is in on here. So that is the mindset.
The thoughts first.
Yeah, the thought first.
So let's just speak a little bit more about your services and all.
Correct. Well, it's a mind mastery, right? You all have heard of fixed mindset and growth mindset. That is a very general one, right? So most of us are conditioned when we are young. True?
Agree,
right? So if you look at when you are a baby, 1 to 2 years old, you're basically in the delta brainwave. From 3 to 7, you move up to the theta, right? And from 8 to 12, you move up again, to the alpha, then again to the beta. So all it is during that period of time, you are being conditioned in a different state. 1 to 7, you are still very pure. Kids are still very pure. They run
then I
around.
believe one day my prince is going to come on a white horse.
Yes, they believe that, and they still believe in a lot of Disneyland and all that, right? So 1 to 7, they are still very authentic. When on 8 onwards to 14, you are conditioning the emotional side of it. And from 15 onwards to 21, you are conditioned on the IQ side. That's why teenagers, they kind of always question everything. Why? Challenge everything, right? So they become very rebellious. So all this conditioning is a condition over time. Yet, when you're 21, during my years last time, we are given, when your birthday, they are giving, your parents will give you a key.
Yeah, the key.
Correct?
Yes.
A key, right? So what does that represent? Freedom. Right?
What do I know about freedom at the age of 21?
Yeah.
When I have no money.
So it's symbolic. So in other words, it's 21 years old, you are free to create a life that you desire. Though you are conditioned, but 21 and above, you can decide what life you want. However, many of us fall back to conditioning. Right? Then you say, oh no, I have no choice. You always have a choice. It's a conscious choice that you make. So going through trauma with your childhood, our brain has this capacity. And it has this, what we call neuroplasticity. Anyone heard of neuroplasticity? Yeah? There are neurons in your brain that you can change and rewire. Right? So what you emphasize more, you strengthen it, and what you don't, it gets weaker. So that's what we call pruning the pathway of your neurons. So you can actually prune away what is not needed. Right? So that is where the mind mastery comes in. Yeah. So you live life better. You are more in the steering wheel, to direct your life the way that you want it, to design your life that you want it. So everybody comes with a blueprint of success.
Before I open any questions to the floor, I have one more last question. This question goes to...
Well, this is something psychologists call flow, right? So what you are like now, and when I give a speech or I'm in a panel discussion, I'm always in my flow. And if you ask people, what is happiness? For me, happiness is when you are in flow, right? So how do you... And this is very related to purpose of life. All right, if you do a YouTube search, you can see my speech in the International Postmaster Speech Contest just a couple of weeks ago that talked about creating the purpose of life. Right? So a lot of us hang around, wait for some signs from heaven to have a purpose. But actually, that is not how purpose works. You need to find what you love doing, put hard work in it, dedication and practice, and then you'll be in your flow. And then you will feel happy, and that is the purpose. So for me, that is something called flow, which obviously